Hello, language warriors. Whoops, let me flip this camera around. There we go. Hello, language warriors. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my live stream. Sorry I didn't have another live stream earlier today. I'm dealing with some technical equipment difficulties, and that happens sometimes. But here we are. I think I have most of my problems figured out. I think. We shall see if everything works okay today or not. Hello, Gina. Hello, Adam. Hello, Zendan. Hello, Rita. I'm tired, but I'm okay. I'm tired, but I'm okay. Hello, Abdo. Yes. Suddenly yesterday, my audio equipment started acting funny. It started. I couldn't recognize it. It wasn't recognizing my computer was not recognizing my audio equipment. So I had to figure out what was wrong with it, and it took me a long time. And it's still not fixed completely, but it's functional. Thank you, Adam, for the gifts. Thank you so much, my friend. Abdo, the topic for today, I don't have a topic prepared for today, my friend. Today's topic is just open. English Q&A session is an open topic where you can ask me pretty much anything. If you have questions about idioms or vocabulary or grammar or culture or pronunciation, anything like that, or whatever. Or maybe you want to ask me about a work problem you have, or a friend problem you have. Sometimes people ask me questions that don't have anything to do with English. And that's okay. I'll do my best to give some sort of positive answer. Zendan, what does it mean to figure it out? Figure it out means to understand how something works, or understand the answer, or find the answer. So, to figure something means to use numbers to solve a problem. Because figure is a word that means numbers. Figures are numbers. Okay, it's not a word we use very commonly anymore, but, a long time ago they used to say, I can do my figures, and that means I can do math. That was like basic math, okay? So 2 plus 2 equals 4 those are figures, okay? And you figured out the answer. All right? So to figure it out means to understand what the problem is, understand what's happening, understand what's going on. Okay? To figure out something. Suda just broke up and you feel very sad. Suda, I'm sorry to hear that. But time heals all wounds. And the good thing is, when you find out what you don't want in life, then it gets you closer to figuring out what you do want in life. So you just figured out one thing that you don't want. Now you're closer to figuring out and understanding what you do want. Hello, Bellin, my friend. How are you? How is the family? Can I learn you how to speak English well? HMH. Well, let me help you with correcting you with your first sentence here. You could say, can you teach me how to speak English well? Can you teach me how to speak English well? And HMH, I can't teach you personally. I'm here to teach everyone. Okay? If you pay attention and you follow and you listen, you will learn something. Okay? I have about 49,000 followers now. Did I hit 49,000 yet? Let's find out. Almost. I have 48,883 followers. That's a lot of people who are asking me questions about English. So you'll get a lot of information here, okay? Hello, Lena, my friend. How are you? Hello, Menem. What is the meaning of cliche? Sandalren. No, is it Sandaruwan? Sandaruwan. I think I'm saying that correctly now. I apologize for mispronouncing your name if I'm not saying it correctly. Cliche is actually a French word. And the English meaning of cliche basically means it's almost like a stereotype. It's similar to a stereotype. It means something that's done so much that it's kind of obvious and let me look at the etymology of cliche. I'm curious. I mean, I know it's French, but I'm curious exactly what the etymology is. So let's look, shall we? Cliché, meaning an electrotype or stereotype. So again, it basically means like a stereotype of something. That's so cliché is what we say. So if you do something that's very obvious, how do I describe this? When do we use the term cliché? Let's find some examples. And here's what I do. If you want to understand how to use a word, you can type in the word cliché, example, sentences. And then they'll give you a bunch of examples. So, so if I have one. If you're in a business meeting, with your boss, and your boss says, "We need some new ideas right now." And he says, "What I need is some outside of the box thinking." That's very cliche to say. It's very cliche for a boss. Whenever there's a problem, you know, there's always somebody who will say, what we need here is some outside of the box thinking. And that's kind of cliche to say. Let me think of another good example of cliche. So there are things that can be cliche, and there are phrases that are cliche. So if I say something like, all for one and one for all, that's cliche. If I say, we're all in the same boat, that's kind of cliche too. Okay, so cliche is a funny word because it doesn't have it doesn't mean the same thing to everyone. So what is cliche to you might not be cliche to someone else. Okay, so it's kind of interpretive. It's a little bit interpretive. All right? Let me give you this. This will help you a little bit more to understand cliche. Go to this website. All right. Can I help you to figure out how to pronounce R? For example, sorry, right, and rain. Yen, yes, I can. Yen, the R sound. If you look at my mouth when I say the R sound, the secret of the American R sound is understanding where do you put the tongue in your mouth. Okay? R, R. Now, is my tongue going all the way to the roof of my mouth? Let me see if I can show you a picture of that. So, to make the R sound, the tip of the tongue is down, but the back or mid part of the tongue raises. So, let me show you a picture of what that looks like. Too many windows. There we go. Of course. All right, here we go. Look at this. So on the left, we have the L sound. And when you make an L, the tongue is... the tip of the tongue is up against the roof of your mouth behind your upper teeth. L, L, L. But when you make an R sound, the tongue pulls back a little bit in the mouth without touching the top. So look at my mouth. R, 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 R. Can you see my tongue? It's hanging in my mouth. It's not on the top. It's not on the bottom. It's hanging right in the middle. Okay? And you can focus on the word R and the word car. So, the word R. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you hungry? Are you from here? Are you from there? Are you interested in this? Are you interested in that? Right? Just simple R questions that you can practice. Yeah, and that was what I was just about ready to say, Yami. Yeah. I was just about ready to say. How do you say the number 2 in Chinese? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So R. It's very close. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close, right? So car, R. It's the position of the tongue is about the same. Okay? The sound is a little bit different between a Chinese number 2 and the letter R in English. Okay? Thank you for that. Yeah, I almost forgot to mention that the number 2 is very close. It's similar. Okay? All right. Be patient. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm going to try to answer everyone's questions. Yeah, and if you're still having problems with your pronunciation, you can raise your hand and I can maybe, if I can see you and hear you, then I can help you a little more. Okay? Tiffany says, I failed an interview and I feel frustrated, even though I will have 4 days holiday starting tomorrow. Tiffany, what kind of interview did you fail? You mean a job interview? Thank you, Mara. Hello, Qatar and Mia. Good morning, Ivan. You're limping along. I know the feeling, Belen. Hello, Sadak. Lena, I'm really tired, but other than that, I'm fine. So if I look extra tired today, then I apologize because I was up late trying to solve my equipment problems. Hello, Camellia. Welcome. I am recording. Thank you, Adam. Hello, Mona. How long does it take to reach a high level in English? Abdo, that depends on you, my friend. The mastery of any one thing, really, you can't define how long it's ever going to take anyone. Learning is a unique process for each person. So, I could tell you some arbitrary number like 10 years. I could say, oh yeah, 10 years or 5 years or 6 months. But no, it's different for every person. It would be really of no value for me to tell you a number. And, as I've said many times before, you can't ever finish learning a language. So, even trying to define what is high-level English, that's hard to define. What does that mean? Right? Can I talk about the topic, should schools teach students how to manage money at an early age? Lee, that's an interesting topic. Yes, Lee, in general, I think they should. Yeah, I think it would be better if kids did learn a little bit more about basic finances and basic economics from an earlier age. I'll just say yes in general. I think it's a little more complicated than that, but in general, I think it would be a good thing. And there are, in America, there has been a push to make more programs to teach finance to young people here. A business English interview. That's the interview you had. Well, Mia, sometimes, Mia, we have setbacks. I don't like to call them failures because they're not failures. You didn't fail. The only way you can fail is if you quit. Okay? The only way you can fail is if you quit. But anyone who's trying to become good at something is going to have many setbacks. Okay, that means that you're going to try and try and try and try and try, and then you're going to fall back, and then you're going to try and try and try, and you're going to fall back, and then you're going to try and try and try, and you're going to fall back. And that's life. C'est la vie. So, Mia, what I do when I feel like I've had a setback, I like to read about people who are famous now, but they had many, many setbacks before they became famous. So, for instance, J.K. Rowling is one person who is often mentioned because J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter. Very famous books, very famous movies. Millions and millions of dollars have been made from these books now, right? But she got many, many, many rejection letters before she was accepted. So she submitted her work to many other publishers, and they said, no, this is no good, this is bad. So I like to read about famous people who they had many, many setbacks before they became famous. And it reminds me that setbacks are just a part of any mountain climb. Okay? If climbing mountains were easy, then everyone would do it. Hello, Yuri. Could I talk about business English, Edward? What would you like me to talk about regarding business English? Can you give me some questions? Ask me some questions, and then I'll answer them, okay? Ivan says, context can influence the perception of the cliche. That's right. That's right. What's cliche to one person might not be cliche to another person. Yeah, it's definitely perspective-based. Yeah. The truth is, I don't think it's a word that is used very, very often because there's not very many situations that you need to use that word. So don't worry too much about it. But yeah, I mean, read about it more. You know? Do some research, people. That's one thing that you have to be if you're a teacher, is you have to be a good researcher. You have to know how to search for things and find the answers. What does ironic mean? Oh, well, that's another one that gets confusing for some people because even in America, there was a song in the 1990s. It was by Alanis Morissette. It was she's a Canadian musician, and she had a song called Ironic. And the lyrics, it's kind of funny because the song is called Ironic, but everything that she's talking about in the song, those are not examples of irony. So many English teachers were like, oh man, no, this song is teaching people the wrong definition of irony, you know? So, what does it mean to be ironic? Irony and sarcasm are cousins of each other, if you ask me. Irony and sarcasm. So, ironic things are strange or funny things, weird things, that are different than what you expect. Okay? In some situation, right? So, examples of irony would be so maybe it's about ready to rain. It looks like it's going to rain, and so you decide to run back inside to be very safe and get an umbrella. So you want to get a big umbrella, and you got the biggest umbrella you could find because you want to make sure that you and your friend are dry, Okay, so you got this big umbrella and you're very proud of yourself and you're carrying your big umbrella, and then a car drives by and they splash a big puddle and you get wet. So isn't that ironic? You went to all this trouble to try to stay dry using an umbrella, but you got wet anyway because the car splashed you. Okay, so ironic things. Computers are meant to save time, but sometimes they break down like mine did today. And so, that's kind of ironic when the thing that's supposed to make your life better actually makes your life worse. Okay? Or if you're a bank robber, and you just robbed the bank and you're driving away, but you accidentally crash your car right into the police station. So you robbed the bank, and while you were running away, you ran the car into the police station. That's ironic. Okay? How often do I play the drums, Patrick? Not as often as I want to anymore, but I used to play all the time, Patrick. Now I'm busy, Patrick, but I do play still. I have a show coming up next month with another band, and I have to rehearse a lot of songs. They have a big, long list of songs, so I have to rehearse and remember how to play, like 60 songs. Hello, Miguel. Hello, Tomas. What's on the menu today? Teacher Mark with a side of coffee. Hello, Ahmed. How can I pronounce thank you and thousand? TH is hard for you. So, Kelly, let me explain. There are two kinds of TH sounds in English, okay? One TH sound is what we call the voiced TH sound. The other TH sound is what we call the unvoiced TH sound, okay? So let me start with the unvoiced TH sound because that one's pretty easy, actually. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to put your tongue between your teeth. A little bit, like this. Bite your tongue, just a little. Just put your teeth right on it, just a little bit. Okay? You see how my tongue is sticking out? And then take a deep breath and blow very lightly with your tongue between your teeth, like this. Okay? That is the unvoiced TH sound, and that's the sound that we use when we say the word thank you, thank you, thank you. Seema says, we can't see. Seema, watch me. I'm a magician. 1, 2, 3. Turn your phone, and you will see all of me. Okay? So, the TH sound, the first one, the unvoiced sound, you put your tongue between your teeth and you blow lightly with air. And you can practice this with a tissue like this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right? And I'm exaggerating, but that's the TH sound. Thank you. All right? But then we have a second TH sound. All right? The second TH sound, is what we call the voiced sound. And the position of the mouth is the same, but you're going to kind of buzz your tongue at the same time, like this. So it's like I'm humming while I'm blowing a little bit of air over my tongue with my teeth closed over my tongue. Okay? So that is the sound that we use when we say the words this, that, these, those. This, that, these, those. Okay? So, TH sounds can be difficult, but not impossible. You just need to practice. Okay? So, 加油，小能生巧。Oh, man, so many questions. Edward Gao, how to pronounce the phonetic symbols for L and N? I don't know, Edward, because I don't use phonetic symbols, and I don't really even encourage anyone to use phonetic symbols. I think that's too much. I think it's overthinking the language. For most people, I think 10% of people could benefit from learning phonetic symbols. I think the rest of it, everyone else, it's overthinking. It's overthinking. And it's not going to be beneficial for most people, in my opinion. But I'm just one man. What's the difference between problem and trouble? Nothing. Sometimes, Karen, if I say, what is your problem? Or what seems to be the trouble? That's the same thing. Okay? So it depends on the context of how you're using them, Karen. But troubles can be problems, and problems can be troubles. Okay? Wendy, will I invite someone to the stage today? Yes, probably, Wendy. Rihab Ben says, I really want to learn English. Well, then you're in the right place. Thank you, Ivan. You're welcome, Lee. That's right. Arbitrary means that I chose something without any reason for choosing it. Okay? So if I choose an arbitrary number, the number 17, I didn't choose that number for any reason. I just chose a number. That's arbitrary. Okay? Something that's an arbitrary decision is a decision made without any logic or any patterned reason. Okay? What does Classic Academy Adapalum, SCIBLING, that doesn't mean anything. Maybe you mean scribbling, SCRIBLING. Scribbling is a word that means kind of drawing quickly and maybe without being too neat. Okay, to scribble something means to write something quickly, or maybe not too neatly. Okay? Hello, Troy. What is the difference between property and assets? Shizuka, again, those can be the same thing sometimes. Property and assets. So, Shizuka, assets are anything that you own. Those are your assets. Anything that is of value that you have, those are your assets. But your property, that word in English usually refers to two things. One, meaning land. Your land is your property, right? So if you have a house and you have maybe a piece of land that you bought, that land is your property. All right. But property is also used to talk about any possessions that you own. So your TV and your computer and your car, those things are also your property. Okay? So all property are assets, but not all assets are property. Yeah. All property are assets, but not all assets are property. Okay? Some assets could be things like stock. You know, if you own stock in a company, that's an asset of yours, but it's not really property. Okay? Or an asset could be, we use that word when we talk about if you have some skills. So, for example, they might say she's a real asset to our company because of her business skills. She's a real asset to our company because of her language skills. So her skill is an asset. It has value to the company. Okay? I can read what is it, Poor Dad and Rich Dad? Miguel, I've heard about that book, but I haven't read it before. But some people have mentioned it before. Bellin likes that book. Tomorrow is Dragon Boat Festival. I forgot about that. Hello, Alex. Hola, my friend. Could I tell you the best English book? A story book. Well, Sadak, that's a hard question to answer, man. There's a lot of there's a lot of books. But I think that Sadak, I like to recommend this book series. It's called 6-Way Paragraphs. I'll write it for you. Just wait. If you're looking for good English reading practice, 6-Way Paragraphs by Walter Pauk is a good series. This one is the middle level, but they have a beginning level, middle level, and an advanced level. And this one book has 100 short stories. Okay, so take a look here. So here's one story right here called The Hermit, okay? And the story is very short. You can see it's not very long at all. And then they have a few questions that they ask you here and here. All right? So they have 100 short stories in each book, the beginning level, the middle level, and the advanced level, okay? And so that's a good book for improving your reading practice, okay? 6-Way Paragraphs. Abdo says, but when I learn new vocabulary or phrasal verbs, I forget these words after some days. Yeah, Abdo, you know, I think you've probably heard me say it before. If you forget words, it's because you didn't spend enough time with them. You have to think about words like they are friends. And if you want to remember someone, then you must spend time with them. If you walk down the street and you see one person, just seeing someone, that you're not going to remember them because you only spent 1 second looking at them. But if you stop and talk to them for a minute, you might remember them. If you go out and have lunch with them, then you will remember them. If they become your best friend... Oh, sorry about that, everyone. Wait one moment. So, if you need work with remembering your vocabulary, it's because you just need to spend more time with the words. Okay? So, That means make more exercises with the words and come up with more creative ways to spend time with those words. That's a good way to put it. If you're forgetting your vocabulary, it's because you didn't find enough creative ways to spend time with that word. Okay? You need more creative ways to spend time with that word. Hello, Mason. Why is Tehran really hot now? I don't know. It's all right. I can't answer weather questions. Lemindai, I play the drums. You can see drums behind me. Could I please tell you how to pronounce the word it? It. How to speak English like an American? Renea, that's a complicated question. There are many, many things that go into speaking like an American, whatever that means. But I can't answer that like one question. Oh, well, all you have to do is just do this. Just pinch your nose and turn it 3 times and you'll sound like an American. No, it's not so easy. There are many things that you must do, but if you listen to my live stream, you'll hear about a lot of it. Okay? How do I pronounce thesis? Thesis. Thesis. Can I speak about interview questions? Mohammed, any interview is always about one simple thing: confidence. Every question they ask you is a question they're trying to ask you to see how confident are you. That's everything that they want, is to know about how confident you are. So if they ask you, how many years have you been studying English? If you say, I started when I was 10, but then I stopped for a little while, and then I started again, and then no, that's not confident. But if they say, how many years have you been learning English? And you say, well, sir, I've been learning English for about 10 years by myself, but formally I've only studied for about 3 years. But recently I've really started to really push myself further, to push my abilities in English. That's a confident answer. That's a confident answer. All right? So every answer that you give, it's not as important what you say. It's important how you say it. Okay? So whatever answer you have to give, be confident. That's the secret. Okay, I'm sorry, Sunshine, if you raised your hand. I'm almost done answering questions here. What is the difference between within and without? Oh, with no? What? I'm sorry, Miguel, I don't understand what you mean. The difference between within and without. Things that are within you are things that are inside you. Things that are without you are things outside of you. I mean, that's one way to look at it. But to be without something means to not have something. If something is within, it means something inside. Hamad, I'm pretty good today. It's raining, so you get, is that called rheumatic? No, rheumatoid swelling, maybe? I think is what they call when you have rain. Alex, the theme today, I'm just trying to answer as many questions as I can, my friend. So whatever you want to ask me about English, astrophysics, philosophy, shoe size. Too many questions. People are asking more and more and more. Okay, I'm almost done. Do I like science fiction books? Yes, I do. You're welcome, Yuri. Yes, thank you. Six-Way Paragraphs by Walter Pauk. That's right. You like storybooks, but Sadak, those are stories. Those are stories. I don't know what to tell you, Sadak. Here is a list of English novels for beginners. Try that, Sadak. Sophia says, I usually watch TV shows with subtitles. Most of the time I find myself only reading the subtitles. What should I do? Sophia, that's okay. You can watch the TV show that you like with subtitles, but watch it again without subtitles. And then, Sophia, here's the best thing that you need to do. Do a search for your show and type in this word. Transcript. Okay, Sophia, every American TV show and movie has a transcript. The transcript is just like the subtitles, but they give it to you all written out so you can see everything. And then you can make notes on it. So if someone says something that you really think is cool or useful, you can circle it. When you watch a TV show and you see subtitles and someone says something cool, you are not going to remember that later if you don't make notes. The transcript is what you can use to make great notes so that everything you watch can be more valuable. But the secret is you have to watch it more than one time. Watch it one time with no subtitles. Watch it another time with subtitles. Watch it again with the transcript. And then watch it again with nothing. Each way is challenging yourself in a different way. Okay? Please be patient, everyone. Please, please, please. What's the benefit of reading to improve the language? Hamad, when you read English, you can improve your vocabulary and you can see how the words are used and understand their meaning better in the context of a story. Okay? And when you read English, you can see how proper, correct grammar is used. Okay? And that will help you to understand what kind of sentence structures you can use and how to use proper punctuation, things like that. Okay? Tomas says, I found 20 different meanings for the word stretch. Yeah, stretch does have a lot of meanings. Miguel was saying, my mistake, it's without and no with. Well, we don't say no with. We might say not with. Miguel, I think if that's what you mean. Miguel, if that's what you're asking, what's the difference between without and not with? There is no difference. Without is an easier way to say not with. Okay? What's my shoe size? 21.6522. Is culture clash the same meaning as culture shock? That depends on the person who's saying it. It's possible that someone could use the term culture clash and they might mean culture shock. Culture shock is the feeling you have when you go to a new culture and that culture is very different than your culture. Okay? Culture clash is when any two cultures meet and they are fairly different. So that can happen anywhere. So if you have maybe, let's say one family is from Saudi Arabia and another family is from, I don't know, Mexico, let's just say, just as an example. And those two, there's a girl from Mexico and a guy from Saudi Arabia, and they're going to get married, okay? And those two families get together to have dinner. That might be a culture clash, okay? Because, for example, if you're from Saudi Arabia, you're probably Islamic. If you're Islamic, you don't eat pork. If you're from Mexico, there are a lot of pork products that are part of Mexican traditional food. So there's one kind of culture clash that could happen. Okay? But culture shock is the feeling that you have when you go to a new culture that's very different from yours. How do I explain articles in an easy way for kids? Cami, you mean articles like a, an, and the? Is that, you mean English, the grammar articles? Is that what you mean? Oh man, today I feel already tired from answering so many questions. What would you recommend if I want to read a book in English for the first time? Read something that's not too difficult, but read something that you are interested in. And maybe you could start by find a book that you've already read in Chinese, but get the English version and read the English version. That way, you're already familiar with the story and you should be familiar with all the vocabulary in your language. But now you'll be reading the story again in English. Okay? That's one good way to do it. Can I say hello to Vietnam? Hello, Vietnam. Xin chào. What's the difference between till and until? 这是一样的意思. I'll wait till you come. I'll wait until you come. 一样的. Abood says, I know a lot about our culture. I don't know a lot. I know a little. I won't say a lot, just a little. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions now. So finally, if anyone wants to raise their hand and come talk to me, they can. Okay, I'm sorry. I tried to go as fast as I could. If I say with no breaks, is that the same thing without breaks? Yeah, Miguel, it is. But, Miguel, that becomes an argument about which one sounds better, which one just sounds better, okay? That's author's choice, in my opinion, okay? I could say, I was riding down the street on my bicycle with no brakes. Or I could say, I was riding down down the street. I was riding down the street on my bicycle without brakes. Those are exactly the same. Okay? You are welcome. All right. Who is raising their hand? Let's talk to Alex first. Alex, would you like to come up, my friend? Alex, no? Okay. How about let's try Luca? Ooh, I need more coffee. Ooh. Luca, would you like to come on the stage? Luca doesn't want to come on either. Okay. How about Abood? Abdo, I'll get you next. Abood. Hello, Abood.
Hello.
How are you,
Hello,
my
Mike.
friend? How are you, Abood?
I'm very good.
Good.
How about you?
I'm pretty good. What can I do for you today, my friend? Did you have a question for me or something I can help you with?
I told you on the chat that I study German, okay, and I want to improve my English language. I have problem with this.
Okay. So you studied German, but
Because,
you want to improve your English language. Okay. So what's the problem?
yes, the problem is that I don't have a lot of time to, and I feel confused when I study German and English.
Right. Well, the German grammar and the English grammar are different, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. So I guess you're saying that you're studying more than one language and it can be confusing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's true. It is. I mean, there's nothing I can really do to help you with that very, very well because if you study one language, it's difficult. If you study two languages, of course, it's more difficult, right? So that's a simple, basic fact. But there are some things you can try to do. What I would suggest, Abood, is English does have a lot of roots in German. Okay, so English comes from many different places. Many English words come from Latin or Greek language, but there are a lot of words in English that come from German. For example, kindergarten.
Yes.
The word kindergarten, that comes from German. Or in English, we say wunderbar. People, if I say wunderbar, people will know what that means here. It means wonderful. So, try to find the link between German and English, and that could be some benefit to you, okay? And then if you're going to find the connections, the similarities between German and English, then the other thing you can do is find the differences between German and English. So
A lot of different.
there are a lot of differences, yes, but if you are more aware of them, then you can avoid the problems, right? So if you know the difference between German grammar and English grammar more specifically, if you can sit down and say, well, what is the difference between this and this, right? So Abud, for example, like I did this same example for Chinese. I thought about Chinese and English. What is the difference between Chinese and English? Well, in Chinese, they don't have any tense, really. They don't talk about tenses. So everything is kind of one
Yes.
tense, right? But in English, we have many tenses. That's one big difference. If you know that
Yes.
difference, then you can focus on it more and be more aware of it, right? So that's what you need to do with German and English. Sit down and try to make a list of all the things that are similar and all the things that are different. And then that is something you can fold up and put in your pocket and keep with you every day, and
Okay.
be aware of the differences and be aware of the similarities. You know, everything when you're learning, Abud, is about weaknesses and strengths and differences and similarities. So look for the weaknesses and look for the strengths and look for the differences and look for the similarities. Okay?
Okay. I got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Abud. Any other questions for me today?
No, thanks. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
All right. Take care, my friend. I'll
Bye.
see you next time. Bye-bye. Okay. Who else would like to come talk with me? Let's see. Abdo. Let's talk to Abdo for a minute. Abdo, would you like to come talk to me? And I see Sunshine, you're back. I see you. Did you already take your shower, Sunshine? Wow, that was fast. Hello, Abdo. Hello, my friend. How are you? Abdo, do you want me to turn off your camera? Oh, Abdo, what happened? What happened, Abdo? We lost you. Okay, let's try Sunshine. Abdo, if you want to come back, raise your hand again, okay? Sunshine, would you like to come on the stage? Have you finished your shower?
Hello.
Hello,
my
Sunshine.
friend.
Ah, Sunshine, are you still showering?
Oh, yeah, I finished.
Okay, good. Well, do you want me to turn off your camera or do you want your camera on?
Turn off.
Okay,
please.
no problem. There you go. It's off. Okay, so Sunshine, how can I help you today?
Yeah, I want you encourage me.
To encourage you, okay? About what? What's
Because you know, basically, recently I have lazy. Yeah, I was busy with work, so I'm lazy for study English.
You're lazy, so you mean you just don't have any motivation for studying English because you're tired from work.
Yeah, and take care of my child.
I understand. Okay. Well, this is very normal. When you're an adult and you're busy and you have a family and you have a job, you don't have time to learn the way you did when you were a child. So that means you have to find new ways to learn. Okay? New ways to learn.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, you're correct.
how can you learn when you're an adult? Sunshine, the secret is you have to find ways to learn while you're doing all the things that you do, right? So if you are making dinner for your family, you can take that time, and while you're doing dinner, you're just doing dinner like you normally do, but I want you to do it while you're thinking in English. So you're making dinner, you're cutting vegetables. You can think about, well, what do I need to do next? I need to cut this, and I need to chop that, and then I need to cook this together and put these together, and I need to turn on my oven. Think in English. Think for just that time, right? So this is what what I call creative learning. Okay, you have to find ways to make learning happen all the time. Okay, so Sunshine, someone asked me earlier, how often do I practice drums? And I don't practice drums very often anymore. I just don't have time to sit back there and practice. But, Sunshine, when I'm in my car, and if I'm at a stoplight and I'm waiting to turn, and I have my turn signal on, so you can hear the turn signal, and it's going ding, 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 right? And I hear that as a drummer. And when I hear ding, 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 I want to do this. Ding, 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 ding. So I practice drums while I'm sitting in my car listening to that sound. Or while I'm watching, when I'm doing my work. Many times when I'm sitting here doing my work, maybe preparing for my streams or something, I have a clock, and it's an old kind of clock, and it has a very loud tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. And the same thing, when I hear that while I'm doing my work, I tap my feet while it's playing, right? So I'm trying to find ways to practice while I'm doing my life, right? That's the secret, is creatively find ways to practice while you're taking care of your family and when you're at work. Just find ways to make English part of your daily life. Okay, Sunshine?
Yours. It's a many speech. It's in. Yeah, I got you.
Okay, good. You just have to just try to find more ways to find English in your life. Find it. And I'm not asking you to make more time. We don't have more time. I'm asking you to use the time that you already have, but try to find ways to use that in English. Okay?
Yeah. Yes. I got you. Yeah, I need to anchor myself, anchor English into my reality.
Your daily life. That's right. That's right. Yeah. So just when you're driving down the road, just think in English and see what you see. You know, ooh, I like that car. That's a fancy car. That's a pretty car. Or I'm hungry. I want to go eat there. You know, or look, there's a new restaurant. I want to try there, you know. Yeah, just think simple things all day. And that's what I do with my Chinese, Sunshine, is while I'm doing my gardening, I try to think in Chinese about my garden or about what I have to do, my daily life. You know, I can think about my work. I can think about my family. I can think about anything that I need to do, but just change the language I think in. Okay?
Yes.
I know it's hard because there will be some things that you can't think about because you don't know how to say that yet. But that's why thinking in English is so important. Thinking in English will help you find all the things that you know how to say well and all the things that you don't know how to say. Okay?
Yes. Yeah. I will try.
Okay. All right, good. Anything else I can help you with, Sunshine, or motivate you for? 加油，手能相交。
Thank you.
Okay,
Practice more
2시간.
perfect.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sunshine, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
bye-bye.
very much.
You're
You are
welcome.
very
Thank you very much, Sunshine. Okay, let's see. I've got Cami and Abdo. Abdo, I'll get to you again here after I try Cami here. Hello, Cami.
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
What can I do for you today?
Yeah, so I do have a few just questions, very simple. I definitely can speak, but I know I'm not good. I know everybody's not perfect, but it doesn't mean nothing for me. I just don't want to sit and say it. And I'm trying to go back and learn it again with the rules and everything, but every time I get confused and grammar, so I'm just have a question from where to start and how to follow it. Because I can make the question right, but then I see that like I do have a mistakes in grammar, and each time like I think it's okay, but then when I read it double time I do have the mistakes.
Right. Okay, so Cami, let's start with this. Let's see. So you're from Korea. You're from South Korea, and you speak English. Do you speak another language also?
Russian language.
Russian. Yeah, I could hear your accent.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's why I was trying to figure out where are you from. That's interesting. Okay, but that helps me too to understand, your process of language learning. So, first of all, Cami, you already sound fine. You sound good. So you have to first define what are you trying to accomplish exactly, You want your English to be better. How exactly? For what purpose? Like some people, they want to be better because they want to take the IELTS test, and so they have to pass and get a 6.5 or a 7 or whatever. Some people, they just want to improve for their own personal self, their sense of growth, right? So you have to first define that. What is your purpose in doing this, right? Because they're different. If you're trying to learn for the IELTS, then yes, you must do it a certain way. If you're just trying to speak for life, you already speak fine. And
But
so,
it's not enough. I still do have a lot of grammar mistakes and I'm not happy about that.
okay, all right, well, then that's what your goal is. It's personal growth, right? Personal language growth. Okay, so the first thing you must do is find out, are you right-handed or left-handed? What does that mean? That means that what is your strength and what is your weakness? Okay, I'm a drummer, and that's the first question that they ask you when you want to play the drums. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Because if you're right-handed, then that means that they tell every right-handed drummer, they tell you, you have to practice everything with your left twice as much, because that's your weak hand. So I use that same approach for every kind of learning that I do. So if you're learning something, focus on your weaknesses. Whatever is difficult for you, that's what you need to spend the most time on. Okay? You can't get better if you keep working on the things that you're already good at. You have to focus on the things that you're not good at, right? So, step one, find them. Find them. So, Cami, do you know what grammar mistakes you usually make yet? Like, are you familiar with what mistakes you often make?
Sometimes it's like present simple.
Like, so
So
tense problems.
put 2 times as, so it's 1 time is already enough, and then I will do it like 2 or 3 times, which
Right.
is right. Sometimes I made the mistake with articles. That's why I ask you
Right.
how to explain it for kids, so I will understand it easy.
Oh, that's interesting. You said it that way. Well,
Yeah, because
there
it's
are.
easy to explain for kids, so I can get it.
Okay. Well, what is an article? You mean a, an, and the, right?
Yeah, the simple one.
Right. So articles are there to talk about things. Okay.
Yeah.
But when we use a and an, we're talking about a general thing. Something that's
something
just,
we don't know.
yeah, something we don't really know. So think about a coffee cup, okay? If I say, I want a coffee cup, that just means any coffee cup. I don't care. Yeah. If I say I want the coffee cup,
Exactly this one specific one.
yeah, that's a very specific thing, right? So in those cases, you just have to think of a very simple example like that. Coffee cup. You know, oh, I don't want any coffee cup. No, I want the coffee cup. That one. Okay? And grammar is English grammar is best learned by example, in my opinion.
Right.
Because when you try to understand the way they explain it with the words that they use, you know, this is the superlative, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, no, man, you're not helping anybody when you use language like that. Because, Cami, the problem with English is an international language. But the rules of grammar of English are still written by native speakers for native speakers. So they need to change the entire way that they write the rules of grammar to be understood by non-native speakers. Because, yeah, I have 2 books that I use to teach grammar. One book is called English Grammar in Use, and that's like the most famous grammar book of all time. It does have every answer in it, okay? But I hate that book because it's boring and dry and so hard to understand sometimes. Because if your explanation needs an explanation, then that's not a good explanation. And many times when I'm reading these books, I'm like, wait a minute. Now I have to explain that to my student because they're not going to understand that. You know, so I have another book that I use called Basic English Grammar. Basic English Grammar. It's by Saddleback Publishing. I'll write that down for everybody. Mm-hmm. Whoops. Basic. Basic English Grammar by Saddleback Publishing. That book I really like because it's really simple and they use cartoons to, like, you know, explain everything, and they use a lot of exercises. So it's less about explanation and more about practice. Okay? So, but when I teach English grammar, I have to use both of those books, and that's not right. You know, so that's the reason why is because, like I said, English is an international language, but the rules are still written that only natives can really understand. And even we can't understand it well.
Not every native.
Right.
Some
That's
of them are
absolutely.
very bad in grammar.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah. If you want to see bad English, just open Facebook. You know, I mean, you'll see people. It's horrifying to me, you know, and I'm not trying to be, you know, what we call a stickler. A stickler means somebody who, you know, everything has to be correct all the time. You know, look, I relax and I'm a drummer. You know, I don't expect you to have perfect grammar all the time. But if you're an adult over the age of 40 and you still don't know the difference between Y-O-U-R and Y-O-U''re, you know, it's like, oh my God. Yeah. So, and you'll see that a lot, right? So, Cami, that's also why I tell people on my streams here, sometimes they tell me, I can't understand people when I hear them in TV and movies or something. And I'll tell them, but maybe the person you're listening to is not speaking with good English. So that's why you can't understand. You know, so you have to start with good models first, right? So just like any musician, when a musician wants to learn how to play, we don't listen to everybody who plays piano or everybody who plays drums. No. We listen to only the best ones. And we focus on modeling ourselves after them, right? So you should do the same thing in language. Don't model yourself after everyone that you see. Find the ones who speak really well and model yourself after them. Okay?
Right. That's good. Okay.
So, but as far as grammar goes and your problems with grammar, just to get back to that, what you need is to figure out what your problems are. So you need to sit down and find a plan, make a plan to figure out, what are my common mistakes? What are the things that I always do wrong? If you can be familiar with what your mistakes are, then you can attack them and figure out how to improve them. But until you're really, really familiar with what they are, they're going to continue to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah. And
But
that
I know I can see them and I still like, I understand, but I still do that. Like I understand the articles, but I still do that. So, time to time, not so often, but sometimes it happens.
yeah. Well,
Just need more practice. It's
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you just need more practice. And also just, just remember, it's just language. It's just language, everybody. It's not, what I always tell people, Cami, is that language is not about perfection. Language is about expression and communication. So if you can express yourself well and you can communicate well, then you have good language. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have perfect grammar. Because I can say, I want to go to the store, and that's good. But I can also say, I want go store, and you understand me the same way. Right? So that's why I'm kind of saying, like, at some point, grammar is, not really that important. Okay? So people ask me, is grammar important? And I say, at work, grammar is important. At school, grammar is important. If you're taking a test, grammar is important. But if you're just at the corner store talking to your friend at the grocery store or whatever, it's not that important. And I'm not saying I don't want you to improve. I want you to improve. But here's the problem, Cami. Some people, they're so afraid to make mistakes with grammar that they won't speak. And if you don't speak, you definitely are not going to improve. So if you are speaking and making the mistakes you make, that's better than not speaking at all because you're afraid to make mistakes. Okay? So at least that's why I tell everybody here, love your mistakes. Boldly go make mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the more progress you'll make. Okay? But like you have to be familiar with your mistakes and just get more and more familiar with them. The more familiar you become with them, the more likely you will stop yourself before you do that mistake and correct it. Okay? But I have confidence in you because I can tell that you care and your English is already quite good. So
Yeah, I know about that. I don't feel
Okay.
shy. I know that English speaking people, in general, they don't mind how you talk.
Right.
They absolutely don't mind how
That's
they talk.
right, yeah.
But for myself, when
Sure.
I hear the way I sound, sometimes I can hear my mistakes. I feel shame. But I keep talking.
Well, that's good, right? Yeah, that's the most important part. You're not letting your shame win. That's why I tell everybody here you have to be a language warrior. You're not allowed to be shy, and you're not allowed to let your shame or embarrassment win. You have to be stronger than your shame. You have to be stronger than your embarrassment in order to learn well. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Cami. Again, you're doing great. Just keep doing it, and you'll get better. But the sooner you find your weaknesses and focus on them, the better. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Good.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
Okay.
Cami. Make sure you follow and come back and see me again. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
You too.
All right. Did I miss any comments? Let's see. Alex, you're back again. Hello, my friend. Where did you go? Okay, let's see. Abdo, you want to try again, Abdo? Hello, Abdo. Abdo. Hello, my friend. Are you there?
Hello, Mark.
There he is. All right. Hello, my friend.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Abdo, do you want me to turn off your camera?
Yes, but I can't turn off my camera.
That's okay. I can do it for you. There you go. It's off.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
What can I do for you
So-
today, Abdo?
Yeah. So, Mark, sometimes it gets boring when you talk to yourself all the time in English. So, because I'm not at an English community, so sometimes it gets boring to talk to yourself all the time. How can I overcome that boring and still motivated?
Okay. Well, there's two things that you need to think about. One is talking with yourself, and the other one is thinking to yourself. Okay? So, Abdo, if you're talking to yourself in English, that's good practice. That's very good practice. Watch a TV show and say, "Oh, I like him. He's really funny," or that was such a funny joke," or "I can't believe they did that," or "I don't like this guy. I don't like that girl." Whatever. Just talk, right? But I know that does get boring, right? However, the more important thing that I've told you about before is the best practice that you can do is just try to live your life every day and start using English when you think instead of Arabic. Okay? So if you're making breakfast, then think in English while you're doing it. Right? So I'm not asking you to have a conversation because, yeah, having a conversation with yourself can feel like, oh man, I'm talking to myself. This is boring. But if you're just thinking, that's what you do all the time anyway. Right? So you can just learn how to think in English more, and that'll be better practice for you. And it shouldn't feel so boring because it's just thinking. It's just what you have to do anyway. Okay?
Oh.
Does that make sense,
so-
Abdo?
Yes. So, could you tell me how can I improve my pronunciation, like in letters like A, E, I, O, U? Because sometimes I can't open my mouth.
Right. Well, that's the secret. The secret is opening your mouth. Yeah. If you're practicing the English vowels, you have to use a big mouth when you're speaking American English. Okay? And the more you exaggerate them, the better. So, try saying A, E, I, O, U again, but this time I want you to slow down. A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, I, O, U.
Better, but slower and bigger. A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, I, O, U.
Much better. Now, let's talk about your I sound. Open your mouth. Watch my mouth. I.
I.
Much better. Again, I.
I.
That was almost perfect. I like ice cream.
I like ice cream.
Better, but keep your mouth open. I like ice cream.
I like ice cream.
That's better, Abdo. That's an improvement. Abdo, I can hear a little bit of British accent in your English too. So you've been learning a little bit of British accent too, haven't you?
No.
No?
I didn't. No, yes.
Because when you say words like I can kind of hear you say more like I. That's more of a British kind of a I sound. So the secret again is look at the mouth position. I.
All right.
Okay? And keep
I.
it big. But all of the English vowels, A, E, I, O, U, if you exaggerate the mouth and make them bigger, then you'll speak more clearly. Okay?
Okay, so I have one question. If you let me, how can I create a creative ways to keep my new words that I learned and phrasal verbs in my mind as long time as I can.
Well, Abdo, like I said, if you forget vocabulary words, there's only one reason why. It's just because you didn't spend enough time with them. Okay, so you have to use them more. You have to be more familiar with them. So that's why you have to think in English, because you have to spend more time with words. And if you're not thinking in English, then you're only spending a little bit of time with words every day. If you practice English and you only practice 2 hours a day, you're never going to improve. You're never going to be able to really speak. But if you can learn how to think in English, then you can practice for 2 hours a day. But you can also think for 6 or 7 hours a day. And you'll improve much, much, much faster that way. Okay? But if you're thinking in your native language all day and then only practicing with English for 2 hours, and even then, when you practice English, you're still thinking in your native language, you're not going to improve. So the secret to improving any language is making sure that you understand you have to think in that language. You have to think in that language. Okay?
Yes. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome, Abdo. And keep working on it, my friend. But Abdo, be creative. You're a smart guy, okay? So if you're forgetting the words, then I want you to sit down with those words and find more creative ways to use them. And I'll give you one more trick that's good. Sometimes when we learn new words, we try to use them. But when we try to use them in the most normal way we can, right? So if I want to use the word, let me think of a good word. Let's just say the word, I've used this one before, flabbergasted. Do you know the word flabbergasted, Abdo?
No, I don't know it.
Flabbergasted is a word that means like very shocked and surprised, okay? But it's not a word that we use very, very commonly, right? We don't use it all the time, okay? So if I use it in a common way, it sounds funny. If it sounds funny, you will remember it. So this is what I call the big pink elephant hat theory. If you walk down the street and you see a guy walking down the street, if he is normal, you won't remember him. But if you see a guy walking down the street and he has a big pink elephant hat, you will remember that guy, right? So I want you to put a big pink elephant hat on all of the words that you try to use. Right? So try to find a way to use the word in a normal way, but also try to find a way to use the word in a funny, weird, different way. So you could say, I bought coffee this morning, but I was flabbergasted by the price. You know, that seems like a little bit strong. Like, why are you using such a strong word to talk about the price of coffee? Right? So I'm more likely to remember it. Okay?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah, so that's the big pink elephant hat theory, everybody. If you walk down the street and see a normal person, you're not going to remember him. But if you see a weird guy with a pink elephant hat, you'll remember that. This is how your brain works. So if you know that your brain remembers weird things more than it remembers normal things, then try to write sentences that are weird and funny, and you will remember them. Okay?
Yes.
All right, Abdo, any other questions for me?
No, thank you, Mark, for helping me.
You're very welcome, my friend. Okay, take care, my friend. I'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Anicia. Hello, Noor. I'm fine. Thank you, Kiki. Let's see. Anisia said she's been waiting to talk to me. And Asma, I see you've been waiting a long time too. I'm going to talk to Anisia, then I'm going to talk to you, Asma. If you can wait just a few more minutes, you've been waiting a long time. I'm going to try to get to you next, okay? Hello, Anisia.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too. Let me turn up your volume a little bit here. There we go. That should be better. Anisia, do you want me to turn your camera off?
Yes, please.
No problem. Okay, there you go.
Thanks for understanding.
No problem.
So,
So what can I do for you today?
no, what's your channel's purpose?
What is my channel's purpose? Well, I am an English teacher, but I am trying to show people a better way to learn language. And I also want to encourage people to learn language in a new and different way.
Wow.
Because many people, they always look at language and they say, well, you can only learn language if you're going to be fluent. So many people, they don't bother to learn anything about any other languages because they think, well, I'm not going to be fluent, so why should I bother? But I think that's stupid. I think it's great if you want to learn a little bit, even just 10 words from another language. That's awesome. Learn how to say please and thank you and hello and goodbye in 10 different languages. You know, that's not hard. That's not hard to do. But it's very, very cool. And if you know 10 words in another person's language, you can make them smile and you can make a friend. So that's the purpose of my stream.
That you're, not that you're respecting the language, but if you can make a person smile, that's worth a lot.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So
People love when you speak their language.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's why I said. So my channel is a friend in every corner is what I call it. A friend in every corner, because I want to make a friend in every place in the world. And my theory is that if you can learn just a few words in someone's language, then you can make them smile and you can make a friend. And like you just said, if you speak someone's language, they'll respect you because you showed respect for them.
Yeah, and I think you do so well. You teach people so well. You can explain it so it doesn't sound boring, but it sounds like it's very educational. But at the same time, it doesn't.
And Anicia, your microphone is really hard to hear. I don't know if it's maybe far away from your mouth or if it's maybe covered or not, but sometimes it's hard to understand you because the volume is so low. Can you maybe talk a little closer to your microphone? Anicia, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, that's very, very quiet. I don't know why. I'm trying to make it louder, but I can only make it so loud. I can hear you okay because I have these headphones on, but I don't know if everybody else can hear you because it's very quiet.
Well, maybe that's because my voice is quiet.
Yeah, no, something's wrong with your microphone, Anicia. I'm not sure why, Anicia, but yeah, there's something wrong with your microphone, I think, on your phone. Englsih, let's do this. I'm going to let you go, but maybe you can try to raise your hand one more time if you want to come up and talk to me again, and maybe your microphone will work better the second time, okay? It might be just a problem with the program or something, okay? So let me take you off the stage, and if you want to, you can raise your hand again and come back, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Englsih. Raise your hand again, and we'll see if we can get you back up again, okay? Okay, while she is figuring that out, let me bring Asma. Oh, wow, it's already almost 1 p.m. Hello, Asma.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you
And
for
I'm
being
very
so
glad.
patient. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. And I am very glad to share that I have this opportunity to talk with you because I have a problem with the English, but it's not a recent it's a recent problem
Okay.
because I started my dream job, but the problem is that the company is an international company and they don't speak well. I try to take classes for time to learn grammar, tenses, but I could never express myself in meetings or speak with expatriate colleagues, with the foreign colleagues. Recently, I had presentation in a I had presentation in a public speaking classes, but I could I can't speak my heart uh, I don't
You were too nervous.
yes
Okay. So,
and I uh, but I can't speak fluent and and it's a very large bus and very stressed. But I'm trying to learn grammar, vocabulary, but I can't speak fluent.
okay.
I
Well, Asma, let's start with a few things. So you said you were using English at work, right?
work, yes.
Okay, and when you use English at work, do you have video calls or audio calls, or what do you have?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, meetings, video calls. I have to speak with the colleagues, expatriate colleagues, Indian,
okay,
Russian.
okay. And let me ask you this. Do you record your calls?
No.
Okay, well, that's the first thing I would suggest that you try to do, okay? If you are using English at work and English is not your first language, then anyone that you talk to, you should ask them, is it okay if I record this call? Okay, and if they say, why do you want to record it? You can tell them two reasons that will be very good for you. You can say one reason is, well, English is not my first language, and because English is not my first language, I think it's a good idea if we record these calls, because if there's some miscommunication, then we'll be able to figure out what the problem is, okay? Because we recorded it, all right? So there's one. And then two, if you record it, now you can go practice listening to it. And let's say if you need to talk to somebody who's Indian, right? And they have an Indian accent. I could tell you, well, you should go on YouTube and listen to a bunch of Indian people who speak English. And that would be helpful. But it's much more helpful if you're listening to the person who you talk to every day. Right? So if you record the calls, now you have the best practice that you can use for listening. You're practicing listening to your clients. Okay? And that means that every time you can improve, you'll understand them better. Okay?
Yes, I can understand, but sometimes I have the words, but I can't speak. I get blocked.
Right. Okay. So then that's the next part of my answer for you, which is that, Asma, I hate the word fluent. I don't like that word at all. I think that word has no real value and has no real meaning. And I feel like that word has done a lot of damage to language learning because there is no fluent. No one is fluent. Okay, you say I'm fluent, but the definition of fluent, if you look it up, it says, basically it'll say able to talk about anything easily. I can't talk about anything easily. I don't know about astrophysics. I don't know about microbiology. I don't know about many things. So there are many things that I can't speak about well. Okay? So the word fluent is such a stupid word. But I have a different way of looking at language. I like to look at language more like music. Okay? And when you learn music, music can be simple or music can be complicated. But the point is it beautiful? Is it musical? Does it sound good to your ears? So I don't like to use the word fluent. I like to use the word musical. Don't be fluent with your language. Be musical with your language. What does that mean? That means you don't have to be complicated. Some of the best melodies in the world are simple melodies. Okay? So
It's great.
think about simple words. And then, Asma, language is kind of like art, right? So if I ask you to draw a picture, in your language, you can draw this beautiful picture with a lot of detail, right? But in English, I want you to draw the same picture but in a different language. So that means you can't do it the same way. You have to find a different way to do it, okay? So you have to find a way to be a word artist. And I like to think about it like I'm teaching a class of children. Because if you can explain something well to children, then anyone can understand it. Right? So that's why if you think that my explanations are good, it's because I've got practice teaching children. And when you teach children, you have to learn how to speak slowly and clearly and simply. And like Albert Einstein said, if you don't know how to explain it well, then maybe you don't really understand it. If you can't explain it simply, then maybe you don't really understand it. Right? So, Asma, that's part 2. Then there's part 3. Asma, you just need to relax. Okay, Asma, part of it is just confidence, okay? And when you speak a second language, you lose your confidence. You lose part of your confidence that you have in your native language, right? So you need to find a way to give yourself that sense of confidence in English, okay? And that's why I call everybody who's learning a language warrior, because learning a language is a fight. If you're not willing to fight, then you aren't going to win. Not with language. Okay? And what are you fighting? What am I asking you to fight, everyone? When I tell you language is a fight, what are we fighting? Do you know, everyone? I'm asking everyone here. I told you that language is a fight. So what are we fighting when we fight language? Not the vocabulary, no. Juan Carlos has it. Fear. That's what we're fighting. When you're learning a language, the first thing that you must understand is that you have to fight your fear. If you can't win that battle, then you can't learn a language. Okay? Because you have to be confident. You have to be willing to speak. Okay? But, Asma, sometimes when you're using your phone won't work right. Right? And when your phone doesn't work right, what do you do? If your phone doesn't work right, What do you do?
I try to prepare it.
Right, but what do most people do when they repair it? You just turn it off and you turn it on, right? That's the
Yes,
first thing you
yes,
do, right?
the
First
first
thing
thing.
everybody does is just turn it off and turn it on, right? Okay.
Yes.
So the human brain is a computer, and every once in a while we need to do the same thing. You have to reset. Okay? How can you reset your brain? Watch me, everyone. This is how the human brain can reset. That's all. Take one good deep breath. But you'd be surprised how many people in this world don't know how to do that. They don't know how to stop and just take one deep breath and reset. Reset, and now everything will be better. Okay? So every time you're getting upset or every time you're getting angry or sad or frustrated, take a deep breath and relax, and you'll be fine. You just have to reset. Okay, Asma?
Okay.
All right?
That's my problem.
It's
I'm still stressing all of time with this language.
Well, everyone's always learning. And again, like a musical instrument, no one is ever finished learning a musical instrument. No one has ever finished learning a musical instrument. The same thing is true with language. No one has ever finished learning a language. So, if there's no finish, there's no end, then you can't get there faster. If you can't get there faster, then don't worry about how fast you learn. Just worry about learning. Just keep learning, that's all, right? So no matter how good a musician is, they never say, "Well, I'm done now. I've learned everything there is to learn." No, language is like that too. But it's a good attitude to have because it makes you more humble, and staying humble keeps you more relaxed.
Yes, and it is an art.
It is. That's right. And remember, Asma, that language is a performance. Language is a performance. When you speak a language, you're like an actor. Okay? And some people speak language well and some people don't. So, again, just like music, I can write some music on a paper and 10 different people can try to play that music. And 10 different people will play it 10 different ways. Because the music has no meaning until a human breathes life into it and gives it meaning. The same thing is true with words, right? So I could say to be or not to be. Or I could say to be or not to be. That is the question, right? So language is a performance, and if the language sounds boring, it's because you didn't breathe enough life into those words. Okay?
So I need to change my relationship with English and have fun
Yes.
doing it.
Yes, of course. Have fun. The more you have fun, the more relaxed you'll be. The more relaxed you'll be, the easier it will be to do.
Thank you.
Okay, Asma?
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Okay, Asma? And if you have any other questions, come back and see me again. Make sure you follow, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care, Asma. All right. And somebody said, if that doesn't work, sing a bit. That helps too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I think I have time to help one more person here today. Let's see. Miguel, Elita, Susu, I see you. If you can wait one more minute, let me help Miguel, then I'll talk to you for just a second, okay? So, Miguel, hola, how can I help you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Miguel, hello, my friend.
Okay, hello, hello.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Mucho gusto.
I'm pretty good.
Good.
You know my accent is Spanish, right?
Yes.
Right?
Miguel. The name Miguel was a bit obvious, you know. I know that's a Spanish name.
Right. I forgot about that. Great.
So, Miguel, how can I help you today?
And the best part in learn English is I meet people every day because right now I'm living in the US in the United States. Um, um, 1 years ago, around, and it's my process in learning English. It's very weird because I have a degree in my country. I went to the university, and I don't I don't learn to speak English. It's I don't know why, because the university and school in my country they teach English, but it's a little poor, I think, because when I when I came in the United States, I don't speak English, and um, and I think. Um, I would like everybody speaking like you, because my problem is when I start the conversation with native speaker, American native speaker, it's a little bit easy uh, uh, keep the conversation, but when the other people start the conversation, it's a little hard because they speak a little fast, and so it's a little difficult.
Right.
It's one moment, and
Right, yeah.
I thinking. So
Yeah.
it's a little difficult, this part, and so I have been learning English about 1 year, and I watch YouTube videos. I try to read books. I hear everything, and every time I'm hear English music. I don't listening music in Spanish because I want to learn English, and I want to improve my English. So I think one point in my process is I don't have much vocabulary, and sometimes I try to use another ways. So it's because I don't have words enough in my mind. So what is your advice for that one, and at the same time um, to understand native speaker when he speak fast?
Right. Okay, so Miguel, let me start with that question. Miguel, it's really funny how. Let me ask you this. If you're speaking Spanish and someone says something and you don't understand them, what will you do in Spanish?
It's
You,
maybe I understand a little bit. Maybe I got an idea, but
right,
I don't
but
understand every part.
you might look at them. I mean, in Spanish, if you're speaking
Yeah,
Spanish, but someone says something to you in Spanish and you don't understand them, maybe they mumbled their mouth. They're not speaking clearly, right? And you don't understand them.
yeah,
In Spanish, you'll look at them and say, "¿Qué?"
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like what?
Right, you're
What?
right.
What? Right?
You're right.
But
That's it happen.
But for English, for some reason in English, you think you can't do that. You think you're not allowed to say what? Right? Because it's not your
Yeah, yeah,
native language. But you are, Miguel. You're allowed to say "que." All right. So,
Maybe I think, and the problem maybe is in it's not be in politely. Yeah, it's for example when you was when I went the restaurant to order food uh, in the beginning I don't know how to
yeah.
order food. So in the translation and in Spanish we say quiero
Yeah.
algo. I
Yeah.
want some. But in English, this is a little rude. So it's one thing,
Right.
and no.
Right.
I don't be a rude when
I
I
understand.
speaking. So
Right. So, Miguel, let's go back to talking about if someone's speaking too fast. If someone is speaking too fast, the first thing you should do is just say, I'm sorry, my English is not that good. Can you slow down just a little bit for me, please? I'm sorry.
and I did
It's my
that.
fault. I know. But Miguel, so I speak Chinese, Miguel, and I have to say it in Chinese a lot. It happens to me a lot in Chinese. People hear my Chinese and they think, "Oh, wow, his Chinese is really good." And then they go, it's like, whoa, slow down, slow down. And so I will look at them in Chinese and I'll say, I'm sorry, please, can you slow down a little bit for me? I'm just an American. Okay? So same thing, okay? And Miguel, in America, yeah, there are times when some people are not going to be very patient with you. Okay? There are some Americans, I mean, you have to remember, Miguel, most Americans don't know another language. Most Americans do not. They speak English, and many of them don't even speak English that well. So,
Yeah, you're right.
so, language is kind of a very tricky thing in America, right? I just saw a video just yesterday of some restaurant. I don't know where it was in America, but some woman came in and she was ordering her food and they were playing Spanish music on the, sound system, and she got mad because it's not English music, and she's yelling at them that, she just started saying all this racist stuff and whatever. And it was all because, do you know why? I'll tell you why she got angry. She got angry because she doesn't understand Spanish. And because she doesn't understand, it made her feel stupid. And she's in her own country, and someone made her feel stupid in her own country. That made her feel angry. But her anger is not at you. Her anger is at her own ignorance and stupidity. She doesn't understand Spanish, so it made her uncomfortable, and then she had to yell at somebody because she's uncomfortable. Okay, so I know that will happen occasionally. There are some people in this country who just don't have any patience, especially for language. Okay, but that's not your fault. All right, it's not your fault, man. And I'll tell you this, Miguel, your English is amazing. For 1 year, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you.
you're doing just fine. Okay, and yes, sometimes people will speak too fast. And yes, sometimes you will struggle and it will be difficult. But whenever you can, ask someone to try to speak more slowly. If they look like they're too impatient for that, then sometimes you just have to do the best you can. And you already know that. That's what we call sink or swim. Sink or swim, which is like, hey, figure it out, do what you got to do. Right.
This is the problem. Okay, some words sounds like other words. It's
right.
What
Yeah,
is it?
I know. Right, and also, Miguel, English is not your first language. So that means that if you say something incorrect or you say something that's not quite what you meant, that's okay, man. That's okay, all right?
Yeah.
Because it's not your first language. So if I say something in Chinese that's really rude and I didn't mean to, I'm not going to feel bad about it because it's not
Yeah.
my language and I'm just doing the best I can and I made a mistake. Okay? So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not perfect in your language, you know? I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can, you know? So don't worry too much if you say I want this and someone thinks it's rude. It's going to happen sometimes, right? Miguel, if you're really that worried about it, just remember that Americans, if you're a foreigner, the one thing that you can do that Americans will appreciate is just be overly polite. Be overly polite. So say, please, may I have a menu? And thank you. And, you know, just don't say, can I? Say, may I? Right? May I have a menu?
Yeah.
May I see this? You know, be overly polite. And that's what we call taking the high road, Miguel, taking the high road instead of taking the low road, right? So anytime someone becomes a little bit impatient with you, I want you to try to be a little bit more polite with them. So they become low road, you go high road. All right? That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
And where are you in the U.S., Miguel?
North Carolina.
Okay.
Exactly in Durham City.
Durham. Okay. All right. That's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
But again, in the South, in America, you got to be careful because there are some people who are really, 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 really sweet and kind and wonderful, and there are some people who don't really like anyone who doesn't look like them. You know?
Yeah.
Right? And
I think one of things it's a little hard is I'm in construction, so my vocabulary in construction is it's almost nothing because I'm learning for example how can I order food and business business words and whatever. But in construction is it's very difficult. For example, at the beginning, I don't understand when people say over there, over here,
right.
and so these words I don't have
I understand.
in my
Yeah.
mind.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know it.
I just gave you a link, Miguel. This is a website that has English vocabulary for construction. So
Okay.
it's a
Thank you so much.
huge list of everything you need to know about construction vocabulary. Now, the only problem is they don't have any pictures. So what I would recommend is maybe you can copy the definition. So for example, when you look up corner bead, what is a corner bead? If you're not in construction, nobody will know that, right? But you probably know what a bead is, right? When you make any
I know
kind
a
of
corner, but corner B, I don't know.
Okay, well, a bead is if you're using caulk. Caulk is like the stuff that we use on windows, right? When we use windows, if you want to seal the window, that's called caulk, CAULK.
Okay.
And when you use caulk, you have to push it out very evenly to make a nice bead. A bead means nice and smooth, even line, right? And so a corner bead means what do you do when you have a corner and you have to make the caulk, how do you do that, right? So you could copy this and do a search online and it will show you pictures and that will probably help you go, oh, no, I know what that is now. Okay. So if you go to that website, that one, it looks pretty good. It's got a really long list of, words like drywall and fire stop and flashing. And, these are all things those are construction terms. So you need to know these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Anything else I can help you with, Miguel?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, man, again, you're doing really well, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Okay? You're doing really, really well. For 1 year, you're doing great. Just remember this, Miguel. When I'm a musician, people see me play drums in the bar, and they think, "Wow, his job is so fun. He doesn't have to work ever." But the thing is, they don't see all the work that I put into to practice to get there, right? And the same thing is true with your language, right? People don't understand how much time that you've put into to try to learn the language, right? So just try to remember that. They don't know the struggle that you've had, and so they can't appreciate the struggle you've had. All right? And sometimes people won't be patient with you because they can't appreciate your struggle. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Miguel. Well, make
Okay.
sure you follow and come back and see me again,
Thank
okay,
you.
my friend?
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care,
care.
Miguel. All right. Okay, everybody, it is 1:25, 1:24, and I really need to go. But let me get Anissa up here one more time, and we'll see if we can talk to her. Anissa. Hello, Anissa. Let me turn off your camera again. There you go, Anissa. Can you hear me? But again, Anissa, your voice is so low, I can't hear you. I don't know why. Ooh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there it is. What are you doing? What did you just change?
Hi, thanks for being here. I'm at my dacha right now. Can you hear me?
Almost, I can almost hear you, but not really. Anissa, you have some kind of a microphone problem. You definitely have some kind of a microphone problem with your phone. Because I can hear, but it sounds like you have the phone, like, it sounds like it's covered, like, really low, like this. Okay? So, oh, well, what did you just do?
I didn't do nothing.
Okay, yeah, you have a problem with your microphone, Anissa. You might need to take your phone to a store to have them look at your microphone. Because for just 1 second, your voice was very, very loud. And now it's...
I'm talking to you through my...
there. Now it's better. What did you do?
I just, right now I'm talking to...
Okay,
Oh,
well, it
fuck.
sounds good now. Now I can hear you.
But I cannot see you.
You can't see me. Okay, well, you can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Okay.
Hi.
Well, hi. We can all hear you now, which is important. Yeah. So let's try.
Yeah.
Let me try to help you while I can hear you. I'm sorry you can't see me, but at least we can hear each other. So,
Yeah, hi.
okay. So let's go back and let me try to help you some more. Did you have another question for me or something else that I can help you with?
Not exactly. I've learned my English watching Game of Thrones and SNL and Scrubs and of The Office.
Okay. Okay. Those are all funny. I like those.
So
Those are all good.
so my English is not that good, and my pronunciation is definitely not good, you know. But how are you?
I'm fine, Anissa, but let me start with saying one thing. Do you know how many times that people come on my stream and they tell me my English is not good? And I think they're crazy.
What?
Yeah, because listen, your English is fine. What's wrong with your English? Your English is good. I can hear it
My
already.
English is good.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Why do you think your English is
Thank you.
bad?
Well, because I don't have enough practice, I guess.
Okay.
Because my English comes from, like I'm a parrot, you know.
Yeah, okay. All
I
right.
just repeat what I hear.
Yeah, but again, you sound really good. So, Anissa, this is one big problem. Anisia, sorry. This is one big problem that many people have with language is
Yeah.
you're confusing accent with language. Accent has nothing to do with language. So, for example, Anisia, if I give
Yeah.
you a car, and you have a choice. You can choose between two cars. One car is the engine works perfectly. It's a Mercedes Benz. It's a really nice car, but it has no paint. There's no paint on
No
that car.
paint or no gas?
No paint. No paint on the car.
No paint,
Okay?
okay.
But the car is perfect, but just no paint. Okay?
Like it's metallic?
Yeah, just metal. That's right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But then the other car, this other car has perfect paint, the most beautiful paint job you have ever seen, but it has no tires and you have no steering wheel. Which car do you want?
Of course, I would choose the first one.
Right. So your accent is the paint on the car. No one cares. No one cares.
Thanks.
The paint on the car is just what makes the car look pretty. But the paint on the car does not have anything to do with how the car drives or how fast it can go or how safe it is. Okay? Language is not about your accent. Language is about communication and expression. So if you can communicate and express yourself well, then your language is good. Who cares about your accent? It's the paint on the car. All right?
Yes.
Everyone is going to choose a car with no paint, but it has a good engine instead of a car with no engine but good paint. All right? So forget about your accent. Don't worry about it. Anisia, my grandmother was from Slovakia, so she had an accent. Does that mean she was not American? Of course not. So she was from
she came to America, but she came to America, so she's American, right?
Right. And so that's the secret to the American accent. What is the American accent?
Well,
is it mine?
I don't. Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I don't want to have American accent, but I want to people to understand me.
I'm sorry, Anisia, I lost you there for a second. You said, I don't have what?
I don't.
Ah, your microphone is acting bad again. What happened?
Can you hear me?
Ah, no. What happened, Anisia?
Can
there
you
we
hear
go.
me
Yes.
right now?
Now I can. Yes. Yes.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. Your microphone seems like it has a problem.
I have no. It's my iPad.
Oh, well, that is really
and I
weird.
have to, like, what is it? I have to talk to the camera.
Oh,
I
wow.
I don't know why.
Okay. I don't know why either. Yeah. So, Anisia.
I mean, I don't want people. I don't want to have an American accent. I just want to people to understand me.
Well, then, congratulations, because you're already there.
Oh, thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
So go out and buy a beer because you've achieved your goal. All right. You're understandable, and that's exactly what I want everyone here to know. So many people here. You are focused on the accent, and no one cares about your accent here. Okay, I know you care about it, right? You care. I don't want to sound like I'm from Russia. I don't want to sound like I'm from Saudi Arabia. I don't want. But nobody cares here. All right. When I go to the post office, there's a woman who works at the post office. She has an Indian accent. I don't care. One of my friends up the street, he's from Taiwan. He's got an Asian accent, Chinese accent. Well, I don't care. I can still understand him.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you tell that I'm from Russia?
Yeah, of course I can.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah,
I,
but
I
I
knew
don't care.
as long that I said it, because I rolled my R's.
Yeah, that's right. I can hear that. Look, the Russian accent is similar to the Eastern European accent. So anyone from Eastern Europe or Russia, I can kind of hear that. It's similar to the way my grandmother sounded, right? Because she used to say klobasa and dobre, and they sound the same thing as Russian. They've got that same. Yeah, right? Yeah, the same kind of sound.
Dobre.
Yeah,
Yes,
dobre.
dobre.
Yeah,
Я
dobre,
знаю.
dobre den. Yeah.
Да, добрый день.
Yeah, so so again, if America is a country made of people from all countries, then there is no American accent. All right, that's the way I define it.
About it like that, yeah.
That's the way I see it, okay? And that means that the only real rule here is to be understandable. Okay? If you want to sound like me, okay, you can work on that. But don't focus on it too much because it's kind of a waste of time. The purpose is to be understandable. If you're understandable, then you're done. Okay? That's it. What was that, Anicia?
I'll just work on my grammar.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just do that. Just work on your grammar a little bit more. But you sound fine. You sound good. Almost everybody who comes on my stage and says that my English is not good, I disagree. Okay? So keep working and good luck with it, and make sure you follow and come back and see me again, okay?
Thanks for boosting up my confidence.
You're very welcome. That's a big part of what I do here, Anicia, is I'm kind of a confidence coach.
I don't know why you are doing it. I don't know why. You're great.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you. I do it because I can. That's why. Okay, Anicia.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I will see you next time, okay, Anicia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Jorge, yes, I do speak Chinese, by the way. Yes, I do. So listen, everybody. I know there's more people who want to talk to me, but I really need to go. It's 1:35 and I'm hungry. I need to eat lunch and I need to do the rest of my work today. So I'm going to go. But before I go, make sure you hit the follow button. I have about 39,000 followers on Hello Talk, and that's awesome. But I need more. No, not 39,000, 49,000. 39,000. I have 49,981 followers right now. So I just need a few more followers to hit 49,000, and then my next goal is 50,000. So please help me reach that goal before July 1st, and share, please share. Okay, everybody. So I think that's going to be it for me today. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for following and participating. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening wherever you are in the world. And don't forget, be a language warrior. If you want to learn a language, then you have to be willing to fight. Okay? All right, everybody. Take care, my friends. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.